Good evening, Assistant Governors. How is everybody? Can you see my slide?
Yes, sir.
Good, 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 good. And I got this off of the Rotary website too, Kirby, so I expect congratulations on that. You guys are, most of you are old hat at this now. It's good to see the new folks on. Welcome. You're the district's eyes and ears into where the health of these clubs are. The district governor, when we go visit, is normally one of the lowest attendance meetings of the year. So it doesn't give us a really good idea of how successful our clubs are. So I'm going to ask you this year, we had membership facilitators this last year, and we had kind of a mixed bag in that end, but I'm going to ask you to kind of be the eyes and ears of the membership committee this year at the various different clubs. When you're in there, and please go in there on a meeting that is not the district governor's meeting, to tell us, are people attending? Is the food good? Is the location decent? These are all things, because we're going to be talking this year to the clubs about attraction and engagement a lot. So let's get started. And come on. Whoop. There we go. Okay. These are the goals that I discussed with Don for this year in terms of our membership program. I've got some specific ones that call for the possibility of putting a new club together in the River Market. I've been approached by some Rotarians who are interested in starting a new club up in that area of Kansas City. One of the things that I had wanted to do in my year and didn't get it done was to create a passport club in the Kansas City metro area. There's a lot of metros across the world that are now trying passport clubs. You'll hear more of that as it goes forward. I want to rebuild the membership page on our website so that the membership chairs have all the necessary items they need to support their efforts. We used to have that, and when we rebuilt the web page, some of those things disappeared. So we're going to be putting resources back there that are directly focused on trying to provide them with any of the details that they need when they're working in the membership area, including links to a lot of the RI information that's out there. And then identifying those membership chairs and making sure that they know all of the resources that are available from Rotary International to support them, including all the things there are in the Learning Center. There's a tremendous number of courses that are focused on membership that not only the club presidents, one of the things that I want you to stress when you're out there visiting your clubs is the need for a membership committee, even in the smaller clubs. If the president is the only one responsible for membership growth, it's not going to happen. If they've got one membership chair who's been membership chair for the last dozen years, and there are no additional folks that he works with or she works with to try and build membership, it's not going to happen. They need to have a group of individuals within the club that actually focus on trying to attract new members and engage existing members. So make sure that your presidents understand that they need to be delegating that responsibility, and the membership chair needs to be creating a team of people. So please, if you would, in your first meetings with them, try and see whether they've got that same old situation where everything falls in the president's lap, or if they've only had one person working on membership forever, because that's not a model that's very effective going forward. We're going to talk about now, if they want to have a meeting, okay, if they'd like to have a meeting either with the entire club or just with their membership committee. I'm more than happy to do that either in person or via virtual, via the Zoom tool, and do the same thing that we did basically with the club presidents. We're going to talk about attraction. We're going to talk about actually a lot of things that are really the opposite of attraction, to get them to appreciate how important it is to really make their club attractive to outsiders. And you're going to see, if you haven't been out to visit some clubs, some pretty scary clubs when it comes to attractiveness. Either they don't pay attention to visitors when visitors are present. They all huddle up in their same old groups that they've always sat together with, or the food is atrocious at the place that they meet, or quite frankly, we have just a few clubs, less than a dozen, that actually meet in places and they've lost, it's kind of like being around a bad smell for too long. You know, you don't notice it anymore. But yet they're meeting in places that aren't very attractive, the meeting locations are. But it's a habit and they've been there forever. So we're going to talk about laws of attraction with them, and try and be honest with them about attraction and how that operates. And then we're going to talk about engagement, because that's the real issue. We've lost 79 members in 2 months from our district, okay? That's as of today. And I can tell the difference between the clubs that are actually actively updating their member numbers to make sure they're clean for next week and the ones that haven't touched them yet. But a lot of the reason that we've lost them is not just tied to COVID-19, but it's tied to the fact that they weren't engaged in their clubs. And members like that, when your club stops meeting or stops meeting face-to-face and the fellowship part goes away and you have no participation in various committees, you're not involved in planning various different events. If you're not doing those things, this isn't the only reason. This just amplifies it. So we need to talk to them about how they engage with their members. Are they conducting meaningful projects? You know, we've got clubs that have been doing the same projects for years and years and years, and very few projects. But then on the other hand, we've got some just beautiful projects from a lot of our clubs. So, you know, make sure you're asking about what are their big projects. The one that comes to mind in an awful lot of our clubs is their fundraiser, okay? Well, if that's the biggest thing they've got going for them, and that's the thing that excites everybody, that's a little disconcerting. It really should be more about what they're accomplishing in their communities. And so make them think about that as you're discussing things with them. There's a reason that assistant governors have to be past presidents, and that is that we expect you guys to be able, and girls to be able to be direct with these club presidents, because you've been there and you've lived that role before. Trying new ideas with our clubs. How many of our clubs don't want to try having evening meetings when they're just strictly lunch clubs or social events? We've got to get them off of square one. For example, versus the combination hybrid meeting, virtual and face-to-face. A lot of our small clubs are already back to meeting face-to-face. And I'm telling them, get the Zoom membership for $0 a year that allows you 40 minutes for no other reason than to allow members that are out of town to tie in and to bring better speakers and better programs, because you can get all kinds of programs if you're willing to do them virtually. And try and get them to create a new vision for their clubs as well. Now, real quick, I want to kind of go through the impacts that I made these changes yesterday in the various different areas as far as member numbers. I'm going to try and keep everybody up to date on a monthly, if not monthly, at least quarterly basis. By the way, you can check this by going to Rotary Club Central, because the clubs that you're assigned to as an assistant governor, you will have access to the reporting to look at what their membership roles look like, and also their giving and everything else. So let's take a look as we go down. Chad's not with us, so I'm gonna move there we go, move the window a little bit here. But in his case, he's down 8 so far. Dave Rogers, how are you doing, David? That's everything so far. I'm amazed with Albany is doing so well and holding in there. And of course, we know they've got a super good secretary. So I doubt that she's letting anything slide there as far as members that they're going to pay dues for next week. Maryland, here's where we are. I'm trying to see. I don't think there weren't any changes. I printed this out again today, and there weren't any additional changes to yours. Joel, hey, congratulations on your home club too, Joel, with +2. That's fabulous. So it's really, there are some positive numbers on here as well. Eric, this is kind of what's going on. St. Joe 32 is hurting. Do you know that they have and Don, I know you're involved there too. Do they have an active membership chair now?
No.
Okay.
I'll speak to that later.
Okay. So that's the situation up there. And yet, what's really interesting is every one of these clubs, with the exception of Andrew County, is a citation club, okay? So they're all rolling right along in terms of what they're accomplishing in the community and stuff. It's just the membership issue, and it's particularly on one. So, Richard, wow. Everything's looking great in Area 6. Frank, that's where things sit right now. Moberly lost another one today. They're actually at -4. So that's where that situation is. And Matt, there was, let's see, Waldo Brookside, I think, is at -5 now as of today. And Kansas City Club 13 is at -1 on theirs. So kind of update you as to what's going on there. Tim, everything's still exactly as this chart shows it. That's pretty positive. It's nice to see what's happened at KCI. And the Platte City Club actually grew this year, which is a good sign, and Weston as well. So, Jody, here's your new list, okay? Lawson's lost 3. And they had a really strong president this year, so that's kind of interesting. And I think, let's see, did that change at all? No, there were no additional changes on that list. And Dan, here's your list with, let's see, any change? Let's see, Kansas City South is now at -1. From +1. So, and Jerry, he may not still be with us. Jerry may have gone in on the meeting. So we've had a couple of clubs have some reductions there. And Jeff, let's see, there was one additional, let's see, Excelsior Springs went down to +1 from +4. So, you know, if people want us to come in and put on a presentation, first things first is make sure that they have a structure for membership in place, that they actually have somebody other than the president and one membership chair that's interested. If they want us to come in and do a presentation, we'll do that. Tell them to keep their eye on the district site that we will be rebuilding the membership area to give them links to resources that are available to them. If they want me to make a presentation on membership, I'd be more than happy to do it. And again, we're going to be talking about making your club attractive to new members and engaging your members to make sure that they're actively involved. So anybody got any questions relative to the membership area? I think we'll probably see a reduction of some additional ones.
Mark,
Yeah.
this is Randy Steinman.
Hi there.
You mentioned at the start of your presentation a passport club, and I'm not familiar with that term. Could you explain what that is, please?
Well, there's passport clubs, and they originally started on in Australia, as a matter of fact. But it tends to be a club that meets less often. Okay, sometimes as little as once a quarter physically. We'll meet more often virtually. Will be focused on service activities. So most of the passport clubs will ask that their members contribute 30 or 40 hours worth of service, either through their own club or, and the idea with the reason they call them passport clubs is that they're also, this, by the way, the passport club would be a very, very low dues, because really it only needs to support the district and Rotary International dues. But they would have the ability, as any Rotarian already does, to visit any of the other clubs in the area. And if they wanted to participate in their service projects, for example, they could participate in theirs, with the idea being that that would count towards their service component at that point. And the thought process is this: sometimes this will bring somebody in who's, having trouble figuring out whether Rotary fits for them. If they find a club that does exactly what they want to do with Rotary in terms of service component, then they may choose to transfer from the passport club to a particular Rotary club. So it's just another model. And there was a very interesting, by the way, Rotary International convention session the other day on new club models. That there's a lot of different ways to skin this cat. It's a way too that we can look at trying to engage families where we have younger members who are, with young children who maybe can't make it to Rotary meetings, but would still like the opportunity to participate in service events and stuff. And then if you mix all of the service events that are available in the city together as options for them, hopefully we'll have somebody who learns to love Rotary. So does that explain it for you?
Yes, thank you.
And that's why, by the way, it's focused on the Kansas City Metro. Is these things have really only worked in the big metropolitan areas, obviously.